If you want to learn how to make a call out to an authenticated system using Flow, then this is the only video that you need to watch. So in the previous video of our Flow making a call out to an external system, we did try it, but we made a call out to an open system. Now open system means these systems are available to everybody and anyone. So if I give this URL to you, you can also make a call out to it and anyone can log into it. Like for an example, if I just refresh, I don't need to do any login or I don't need to do anything at all. This website is open to me. I don't need to provide any credentials to access this data. But now in this specific video, we will try to make a call out to a system where authentication is required. So let's say this is an external system and let's say this is me. And even if I want to access my own data, I need to provide my credentials, right? I will just show it as a lock. So I have to provide my own credentials and only then I can go and access my data. So an example would be Facebook, Spotify. If you want to see your own profile picture or anything like that, you have to provide your own credentials and only then you can access the data. So now if Salesforce wants to pull the data of from this kind of systems, even they need to provide the credentials at their end and only then they can access the data from external system. Okay, so here even Salesforce needs to provide some username and password, and using that only Salesforce will be able to access the data of that external system. Now here our external system is nothing but Spotify. Again, in Spotify, if you want to log in, even if you want to try it out, you can go to developer.spotify.com and you need to log in with your username, okay, with your Gmail account or username or password or something like that. So I have also logged in, and once you come over here, go to dashboards and then you need to create an app. Now you might be asking, okay, why do I need to create an app? See, now as a user, if I want to access the data of my external system, I need to provide my username and password. So now this same username and password I can provide to Salesforce directly, the raw username and password. I can give it to Salesforce and Salesforce can log in. But again, this is not a very practical way to do it. Okay, you are exposing your personal data like username and password. You're giving it to some external website and they are trying to access it. So you don't want to do it this way. So instead of that, what you can do is you can create an application in Spotify, wherever you want to make a call out from. So you go ahead and create an application. To create an app, just click on create an app, provide any name that you want to, and app description and the website. Website would be nothing but your Salesforce website, whatever the Salesforce this base URL would be the website, and then redirect URLs. For an example, you can provide anything for now, but I will tell you what exactly this is. And here you just select web API. For now, just select web API and understand and click on save, and automatically your application of this kind will be getting created. So once your application has been created successfully, you can see previously I had to share my username and password, I mean raw username and password, but now what Spotify has done is it has created a client ID and client secret, which is an encrypted username and password, which we will give to Salesforce, and Salesforce will go and log into that external system. So actually, as I have logged in as Salesforce in 5 minutes user inside Spotify, these are my credentials, but in an encrypted manner. Okay, so you can also use this kind of, like, you can also create your own application and you will find your encrypted credentials like this. Now it will be the job of Salesforce to use these credentials to make a call out. Okay, so first of all, if you want to make a call out using Flow, come to your name credentials. Okay, so first initial things that you need to do is you need to come to your name credentials. Okay, so as we are seeing that external system, that Spotify, from where we are trying to fetch the data, it has provided us the client ID and client secret. So as Salesforce also needs these credentials to log in, so first I need to store these credentials within my Salesforce org somewhere. So for that reasons, I will create external auth identity provider. So external auth identity provider is actually used to store the credentials. Actually credentials are stored over here, or you can also say in auth provider the credentials are stored. So I'll just click on new and I will just name it as callout to Spotify Flow YT, and I'll remove the spaces out of it. Okay, so our name is ready. I will select the authentication protocol as OAuth 2.0, and here is where I will store the client ID and client secret. So let me go ahead and copy this client ID and paste it over here. And similarly, I will copy the client secret as well, which I will paste it over here. Okay, so our client ID and client secrets are ready. Let's scroll down a little bit and you can see authorized endpoint URL and token endpoint URL. So these are usually constant, they never change, never change. Even if you do it in production, dev, or in any other environment, authorization endpoint URL and token endpoint URL, you can directly find it on Google. Okay, and this is what I found. accounts.spotify.com/authorize and /token. So just copy this authorized endpoint URL and token endpoint URL. So please keep in mind these are common. No, the client ID and client secret will keep on changing, but endpoint URLs will stay as it is for everyone. Okay, no matter I do it or anyone else do it. Okay, let's click on save now. So we have successfully stored the credentials of our Spotify. Yeah, Spotify in our Salesforce app. Now once this is done, we have to specify which kind of authentication protocol I am going to use. Okay, and for that reasons we will go ahead and create an external credentials. Okay, so let's go ahead and create an external credentials. Spotify external creds, I will say external creds YT. Okay, and I'll name it as it is, removing the spaces. Okay, and let's select the authentication protocol. So for me it will be OAuth 2.0, and here I will select what is the identity provider. Identity provider nothing but where did you store the credentials. So if you guys remember, I created a call out to Spotify Flow YT just few minutes before. I created one I created one auth provider where I stored the credentials. So I'll click here and my credentials are tagged to my authentication protocol now. Okay, let's click on save. Okay, so we have also specified what kind of authentication protocol we are going to use. Now one important thing I forgot to tell you guys is that once you go to this external auth identity which we created earlier, okay, if you scroll down a little bit you will find a callback URL. So if you remember, while creating an application I talked about redirect URI. So whatever callback URL you are going to get, you need to specify it over here. So in my application I have already provided 2 callback URLs, so I'll provide the third one as well. Where it is, yeah, I think so I've already provided it, but yeah, I will again add it and let's click on save. Okay, so that's about the redirects URL which you will get it from auth provider. And once that is done, we have specified the authentication protocol which I had to which authentication protocol I am going to use, and I have attached the credentials to it. Okay, and then I will go and create a name credentials. Now before creating the name credentials, okay, let's first of all go ahead and create a name credentials. So I'll create a name credentials. I'll say call out to Spotify YT. Call out Spotify YT. Okay, and the URL, this is the URL where you will make a call out. I will provide all these URLs in the description. And next I will select the external credentials where we have stored the authentication protocol, and along with that we have also specified the credentials. We have also tagged the credentials. So I'll select the Spotify external creds YT. Okay, once that is done, let's click on save. Now all our things are done. Okay, everything from our end is done, but one thing is important, that when we are trying to make a call out, okay, so first see what we did was we stored the credentials, we specified the authentication protocol which we are going to use, and we have specified the endpoint URL as well using name credentials. Now the point comes is where we have to actually authenticate to that external system. So if I'm logging to that external first, if I want to make a call out or pull the data from that external system, first I need to log in or authenticate myself. So here, in order to authenticate yourself, you need to create something called as named principal. Okay, so or we can say principal. So we will go to where was it? Yeah, this one. You need to go to the authentication protocol or external credentials. You need to go to the external credentials section which is in the middle. Yeah, external credentials. Go to your external credentials, and there at the below you need to specify the principles. Okay, so I will specify the principle making call to Spotify. This is the YT. Okay, yeah, this is the name of the principal that I have created, and I'll set name principal as a type of the principal. This means I am going to use the same credentials, or everybody in my organization are going to use the same credentials to make call out to that system. Okay, let's click on save. Now once our credentials or principal has been created, okay, your next job comes is that you have to go ahead and authenticate. Okay, so in the external credentials itself, you can go to this principal and you can authenticate yourself, which will actually redirect you to Spotify, and you will authenticate once, which will generate a token basically. But yeah, what you are trying to do over here is you are trying to authenticate. So you can see I am trying to authenticate myself. I'll click on agree. Confirm. Yep, and yeah, we have authenticated successfully over here. Okay, you can see the authentication status is configured. Okay, still we have authenticated, but I still don't have we can say permission to make callouts. Okay, so for that reasons, what I have done is my user already has one permission set which I already created. Okay, so the work of this principle was to specify who will have the access to make a call out. Okay, so you need to get yourself the access of this principle. Okay, so you need to go to the permission set. I just created a permission set. The name of this was sample call out, and I will scroll down a little bit and I will specify the principal access. Yeah, so the one that I've created is Spotify with integration making call out to Spotify. I'll add it, and now let's go ahead and create a flow. Okay, so let it save. Now I have access using principal. I have got the access to make a call out to that flow, or to make a call out to that external system. Okay, and authentication is also done. So let's go ahead and create a screen flow, sample screen flow. Screen flow, and I will set it as free form. I'll add a screen. I'll say make call out screen, and I'll say display text. I'll say next, and I'll say click next to make call out. And let's click on done. So yeah, our first screen is ready, so that we at least know, okay, this is where the point is the call out will make. And let's pull the action now and select create HTTP call out. I'll say call out to Spotify YT. Okay, I'll remove the spaces, and here I will select the name credentials. If you remember, just few minutes before we did create a name credentials, that was, I think so, call out to Spotify YT. Okay, so automatically the URL has been populated. Let's click on next, and again I will provide the name to the configurable or invocable action. Okay, make call out, I'll say, and I'll say get method. I'm trying to get the data. Okay, so let's go to the website of this Spotify. Okay, and here we will try to get some details of the artist. So to get the artist, you need to go to this specific URL, and from there you need to go /v1/artist. So just copy this once, /artist. Yeah, enter the URL path, rest of the path, the /v1/artist/id of the artist. So right now I'm giving the ID of this sample artist. Okay, you can give any artist you want. So I'm going to give this artist ID, and once that is done, let's click on next. And now there are two ways you can make a call out. One is using a schema, or you can use a sample response. I really prefer using a schema because it tests your callouts immediately. Okay, I'll say testing callout, and if everything is right, everything works perfectly well, you will get the data structures perfectly over here. So yes, you can see I'm able to get the data, all the data I'm able to get. So I'll say href, I will be doing it as a string, and item I will also go to it as a string, and rest of the things are all as it is. Yeah, okay, let's click on save, and I'll say call out to Spotify. Okay, so yep, So what we have done is basically we have here we have generated the schema, we have tried making a callout, and we have also specified the URL, and we have tried making a callout. If everything was successful, we will get 2xx, that is 200 status code. Okay, let's try to print something out of it. Okay, so from this, let's try to print the genres. Okay, the genres of this particular ID. Okay, so let's try to pull a screen. I'll say printing data, and I'll say display text. I'll say display, and from here, if the status code of this making callout was 200, from there I will try to go and get the genres. Okay, so I'm trying to access the genres of the person. Okay, let's connect this both. Save callout to Spotify YT. Okay, let's try to make a callout, and do we get the answer as prog, rock, and grunge? Do we get this kind of answer? Let's see. I will try to debug it, run it, and if I get the answer as specified, this means our callout was successful. Yeah, let's click on next. Okay, I am not getting any callout at all. I'm not getting any details at all. Okay, what could be the reason? Okay, we are getting the data, but I think so I'm getting some other data. Okay, that specific node is not available over here, but yeah, I think so I'm able to get the data because I can see it inside the outputs. Okay, so yeah, I think so it's specifically working, but I'm not properly accessing a specific node, so that is the issue from my end. Let's try to access some other node. Yeah, as I thought correctly, followers, total number. Let's click on done, save. And let it say okay, debug it, and let's click on run. Let's click on next. Yeah, I'm getting the total followers. Yeah, so we are able to make a call out to successfully, we are able to make a call out to Spotify itself. Okay, and we are able to get the data. To just give you a small recap, what we did was, we first of all went and created a name. First of all, we created an application in the external system, and once that was done successfully, what we did was we created an auth provider, external auth provider. Okay, if you remember, external auth identity, which was used to store the credentials. And once that was done, I went and set up the authentication protocol, and then specify the endpoint URL. And also I created a name principal inside the external credential, so that I can have access to make a call out. And then using the permission set, I gave that access to that specific name principal that I created. And then I simply went and made a call out to a flow. Using flow, I made a call out to this specific website. Okay, so this was all that I have to specify in this specific video. If you still have any questions, you can drop down in the comment section. I will try to answer those. Thanks a lot for watching this video.